Welcome. I'm Tim Fortescue, an IFS trained practitioner, and you can find more about me on my website, faithfullygrowing.com. My background is seminary, and so kind of have a pastoral spiritual counseling approach to my practice, and also work with my wife, who has been a therapist for a couple decades. And so just grateful to be with you today and hope that you find it helpful. If you need more support, I encourage you to check out my website where you can find out about more of my one-on-one and group coaching offerings. And I do offer a free consultation, and I have a couple one-on-one coaching slots available. Those are filling up quite fast, but would love to meet you. So book a consult. There's no obligation. If it means just getting to put a face with a name a little bit, I'd love to meet you. And you can do that at the website also. And if IFS is new to you, that stands for Internal Family Systems, and you can find more by visiting my website and clicking on the How I Work tab. I have a 2.5 to 3 minute video there that may give you a little insight. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about the concept of unblending in IFS, and then I'm going to lead us in a meditation. And know that you can find recordings of what I do here on my website, and it's categorized where hopefully you can find things a little quicker. And you can do that at blog.faithfullygrowing.com. And as we go throughout the time today, type your questions in the chat if you're joining live, or if you're watching a recording, know that go ahead and type your questions in too, and I'll keep a list of questions and engage with those at the end of time today. And then I try to do this each Tuesday at the same time. So put your questions in the chat, whether you're watching live or recording, or you can always send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com. But blending, so coming together of our parts in IFS, causes extreme behaviors. And in this model, we are trying to alleviate and kind of get our parts back into a more tolerable range so that they're not in those extreme roles that can lead to extreme behaviors and that can block our healing. So unblending parts from the self is key. And practitioners like myself or therapists must also unblend from our own parts. Often when I'm in session, or even when I am leading a live like this, I have little parts that jump in, like, I can't believe, like, all these people are watching you and you're just putting yourself out there. That more reactive or firefighter part, or the part that says you need to make sure you have a list of specific things to do so you don't get anything wrong. Those reactive parts, proactive parts that tend to manage everything. And I need both of those parts. If I didn't have this part that does tend to say, wow, you're throwing yourself out there, but I also have little parts that are reactive that say, just go with it, then I would never do this. And if I didn't have those that try to keep me straight and to make sure that I do it right, I wouldn't do it well. But they're parts. They're not who I am. It's not who is leading this session. If I can reach in and connect with those little parts and have them soften back, like, yeah, I am putting myself out there, but it's okay. I'm not the person that you think that I am. I'm older now. Just soften back. And I know it may be hard, but can you just trust me for a little bit? Or this manager. Well, if you look, I do have some pointers here that you've helped me come up with to keep me on track. And I'm not the person that you think that I am. Could you just soften back a little bit? And then as we unblend, we can feel that compassion, curiosity, more self energy. We can understand our parts more, and we can lead from a more self led or beloved place. And what I'm doing now is a perfect example. Don't think I don't have those little parts when I am on this virtual stage like this. And so hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to lead you in a meditation exercise now that may help you just begin to unblend and experience that a little more with your own parts. And this is an unblending and embodying meditation. If any of you have read or are reading the book No Bad Parts by Dick Schwartz, I modeled this after the exercise that he has in the book. So let's begin the meditation. As we begin, get comfortable and take a couple deep breaths. Then start by focusing on and checking in with whatever parts you're actively aware of that are coming up. Perhaps a part you're working with right now in your own life. Maybe it's in reference to a relationship. Maybe it's something you've got going on this week, and thoughts or parts are arising around that. And see if you can find each part in or around your body. Maybe it's a sensation like a tingling in the fingers. Maybe it's a color or an image. Focus your attention on where you notice the part and get curious about how the part is doing. Ask each part if there's something that they want you to know or if they need anything. And do this just as you would with a child in your care. And as you're getting to know it at some point, help it get to know you better. Let it know that you're with it now. Since most of the time, these parts don't really know you. Instead, they've been interacting with other parts, those parts inside of you. And they often believe that you're still a young child. And often, this is their first encounter with you and who you are today. The you who's curious about them and cares about them. So let them know who you are. even how old you are, since they often think you're much younger. Let each part know that they're not alone. See how they react. If you like, you can ask how old they thought you were. You can even ask them to turn and look at you. After you've checked in with the parts you've begun working with, you can open space and invite any other parts that need your attention to come forward. And just wait and see what trailheads, thoughts, emotions, sensations, impulses, just see what emerges. In a similar way, get to know these new ones and help them get to know you. And know that this next part is optional and may or may not happen. But revisit each of your parts one at a time and invite them to relax and open space inside so you can be more in your body. In your mind, take in and notice more spaciousness and peace. If that doesn't happen, that's okay. There's no pressure. If it does, great. Some of the parts may know you well enough, may not know you well enough yet to trust that it's safe to do that. And that's just fine. And if they do separate or unblend, notice that more embodied, spacious sense, who you are and the qualities you feel when you're in that place. What's it like in your body and mind now to have that spaciousness? Notice that spaciousness, the sense of well being and enoughness, that you are enough. And also notice the feeling like there's nothing to do right now and everything's okay. Some people spontaneously feel energy running through their body, making their fingers and toes tingle. So if you can come somatically familiar with this state, notice it. And then you can notice when you're there and when you're not, as you go throughout your day. Any departures from that state are usually due to the activity of parts that have blended to some degree and are giving you distracting thoughts, blocking the flow of energy and spaciousness, closing your heart and making you feel pressure in different places. You can notice those activities and then reassure the parts doing them that they don't have to, that it's safe to unblend, at least for the duration of this meditation. Afterward, they can continue doing what they're doing if they really want to. I found, however, that through practices like this, parts gradually increase their trust that it's safe and beneficial to let you and all your beloved self to lead. They also trust that the self is remembering and checking on them. So don't forget about them, that it's being a good inner parent. All of this self leadership helps them step out of their parentified roles and consider unburdening, letting go. Now, as we close this meditation, I invite you to see if there's anything else. And then when it feels right, I invite you to shift your focus back to the here and now. Before you come back, though, thank your parts either for letting you embody more, or if they didn't, for letting you know they were too afraid to do so just yet. Thank them for their openness and their vulnerability. Then you can open up your eyes if they were closed and continue about what you're doing in life. But thanks so much for joining me for this meditation. Take care. And again, if you have questions, if you're joining live, you can always drop them in the chat. I continue to monitor the chat throughout the week, and I will put questions back next week if you have them. So go ahead and put them in the chat, or you can always send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com and share this with others and let others know they can come on Tuesdays too. But so grateful for this community. Take good care and have a great week. And I appreciate your courage and your trust.